Now let's shift gears a little and talk about India's vision and policies on AI and also India's strategy to be a significant global player in the development and adoption of AI. Please welcome Sri Rajiv Chandrasekhar, Minister of State for Skill Development and Entrepreneurship and also Electronics and Information Technology, as it takes us through how India is on the cusp of an AI revolution.
Hello everyone, to all those joining the Intel All.AI 2021 virtual summit to discuss AI for social good. I am told that there are participants, over 50 participants from across the world joining us in this discussion, and I'm pleased and glad to be part of this very important discussion. India is very deeply invested in technology in more ways than one. Our most recent journey and our engagement with technology as a country, an economy and a government started in 2014 when our Prime Minister laid out his vision of embedding technology into our economy in a deeper, more sustainable way and launched a program called Digital India. His expectations out of Digital India was markedly different from how India had engaged with technology all the years before 2014. The conversation around technology before 2014 was really about IT companies and our growing software services capabilities as a nation. But post 2014 with Digital India, technology, the conversation around technology, the focus around technology became about embedding technology in governance with an aim and an outcome to transform people's lives, improve governance, improve democracy. That was one very broad objective. And the second important part of the objective of Digital India was to expand the digital economy, create more opportunities for entrepreneurship, startups and investments and jobs. And the third was about creating strategic technology capabilities for India as a nation, and indeed India as a partner of democracies around the world for future technologies and future technology capabilities. And it is in that context that India grew in 2014 and made a significant number of public policy decisions and investments in bridging the gap between national capitals, state capitals and the individual citizen, and put paid in a lot of ways to the conventional narrative that democracies are in a sense inefficient and take time and effort to reach the individual citizen, especially in large democracies like India. And technology was the force multiplier in allowing that to happen. And I use this one example always to demonstrate the power of technology, especially in the context of governance in India, which is that in the late 80s, there was a very famous quote by a Prime Minister of India, the then Prime Minister of India, who said that for every 100 rupees that was sent from the national capital of New Delhi, only 15 rupees reached the beneficiary down the line in some part of India, implying that the system was leaky and in many ways corrupt, and therefore the intended objectives of a public and government spending program almost invariably reached in very diluted and reduced form with the beneficiary. After 2014, Prime Minister Modi in India totally changed that around and embedded technology and launched Digital India. And today we have a situation that even during COVID, at the worst of times when this horrible pandemic was thrust on peoples and economies and countries around the world, the poor in India and those who were entitled to subsidies from the government were getting their money dispatched to their accounts directly without any intermediation, any corruption, any leakage. And in my opinion, that is one of the finest examples of how technology works for people and reduces the distance and disintermediates the middlemen that is the bane of many democracies around the world. And technology does that, can do that, and has done that in the context of India. In particular, if you look at the COVID period when there was such a deep disruption on our lives and our livelihoods, and there was real chaos and a crisis of confidence around the global economy, it is technology in India that allowed to the government and the governments, the regions, to protect those most vulnerable during the pandemic, which were the poor, the small businesses, and the effective use of technology allowed the Indian economy to soft land with minimum damage and minimum disruption. And then it is the technology again that allowed the mass vaccination process to be entailed in a country that is otherwise taken in the past over decades to completely vaccinate its population, to complete 1 billion vaccination shots in a short period of 10 months, and on course to complete vaccination and vaccinating and protecting every citizen in the next 12 to 13 months. Using a platform called the CoWIN platform that made it very easy for people to register, track their vaccination process, and for the government, both regional and the central, to understand the process and track the process and make more efficient the process. As if that was not the soft landing hasn't, as if that was not good enough, and the use of technology during COVID to protect our citizens wasn't another strong attribute of technology use. It is clear that in the post-COVID world, the rapid digitization of the world, the rapid digitization of businesses is presenting to India and Indian startups an unprecedented opportunity for growth and success and prosperity. And you can see that at the rate at which India is producing and expanding its startup ecosystem, with over 2 unicorns being produced every month from the month of January to the current November. So all in all, technology has fulfilled its promise, as the Prime Minister laid out in 2014, of protecting and transforming the lives of the individual, expanding the digital economy, and creating capabilities in technology and in areas that are relevant going forward into the future. And it is in this context, now India becoming one of the largest connected nations in the world, one of the largest consumers and producers of data in this brand new data economy that is growing and thriving around the internet, that AI takes center stage and it becomes very important for India. It is clear that AI, especially if you see in the context of technology for social good, which India has now demonstrated over the last 7 years that it has efficiently been able to do and harness and create platforms for, that AI creates an additional layer of targeted, directed governance, sharper governance, a much more responsive, speedier governance in areas that require quick responses and quick, speedier responses. So AI, in my opinion, is a critical kinetic multiplier for India's digital economy. We see it like that. We are evolving a framework that will allow both the protection of privacy at the citizen level, which is a fundamental right guaranteed by our constitution, but at the same time develop a vibrant ecosystem to nurture and develop both governance applications using AI, AI research, and AI-led commercial applications for platforms and entrepreneurs and startups. There is a data governance framework that is being considered. There is a data protection bill that is that is being considered by Parliament in the coming months. But we believe very clearly that artificial intelligence for social good has a deep relevance and role in the way technology is being used by the people of India and the government and governments of India in improving, like I said, the lives of the Indian citizen, transforming their lives for better, improving our democracy, improving governance efficacy and governance efficiency, and the efficacy of public investments and public money in one basket, expanding our digital economy and creating more and more opportunities for entrepreneurs and startups in the other bucket, and third, creating critical capabilities in partnership with other democracies and other open societies for deployment, in scale deployment of AI for social good across the countries of the world, where democracies and open societies seek technologies that are accountable, seek technologies that work for the social good, and improve the lot of the country and the citizen. I am extremely happy to be a part of this conversation. I think conversations like this are extremely important in shaping the future of how AI will evolve, what rules and standards and regulations evolve around AI, because as we all know that cyberspace is essentially borderless and consists of multiple jurisdictions, and the way to move in the future is for nations and minds and societies to work together and evolve a common operating procedure, common operating system almost for the use of these technologies, which otherwise have disruptive and bad elements to it. So on that, let me end, and thank you again for listening to me and for your patience. Thank you for having invited me for this conversation and this summit. And I wish you all the best. I wish you all safe health. Thank you. Jai Hind.
A big thanks to the minister.